White Sox team can have a really decent season in a really bad division. That's what you guys have to remember. It's a really bad division.
It is.
That's
what you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought.
You have your scab-eating OC holding you back, calling two of the same screenplays in a row during one game, and having you throw two passes, which I was corrected by, one pass in the fourth quarter of a game you were the best player in. Fight me!
A bullshit? A bullshit? A bullshit. Bullshit.
a good organization would do. But this is the Bears, not a good organization. So they're going to keep Ryan Poles.
Why?
We just feel our disappointment. That's all.
Yeah, nothing wrong with
Difference
that.
between the Bears and the Bears.
Yeah, we do it. We do it when it's still warm outside.
Right, yeah.
We can get out like October, beginning November. Still like 50, 60 degrees. Nowadays, it's still like 70 degrees.
And that way, during the winter, we're still so angry that everything's warm.
And welcome to Windy City Sports Talk. It's your boy Brandon Combs along with my guy Ryan Poncho Fitzgibbons. What's going on, Ryan?
Pancho Villa? Doesn't that make you Don Quixote?
I mean, I could be whatever I want to be. That's what my mama told me.
I think she was wrong.
She lied to me. You call my mama a liar?
We'll talk about this offline.
Wow. Wow. And that's how we start the show, with me already wanting to throw punch my co-host.
Yes. Let's go.
Fitzy, it's been a week, man. It has been a week. Cubs 3-3 on the West Coast. The Bulls and Blackhawks seasons are over. Still don't have a playoff team other than the Chicago Sky since we started our podcast.
Yeah, I mean,
Still don't think that the Chicago Sky count.
Well, if women watch the sport a little bit more, maybe I'll take notice.
Oh God, you're gonna go there?
Do I have to watch it?
Why
Do I
is
have
it?
to watch it?
Why is it?
I have to watch it.
Why is it?
I have to watch it. I don't tell women to watch the sports. Sometimes I don't even want them to watch. Why do I have to watch it?
We do one episode a week. Every week you try to get us canceled.
I'm not trying. I'm just being honest here.
You're not trying. You're just gonna do it. That's all. That's where we're going with it. I mean, is this how you want to do it? Sums it up, right?
Is that where we're going?
Sums up all
Into the
Chicago
tubes?
sports teams right now.
Look,
We started this podcast in October of 2022.
Mm-hmm.
And we have now seen no playoff teams besides the Chicago Sky. And the Bulls again, who, they fooled us when Josh Giddey hits that half-court shot against the Lakers, when they swept the Lakers.
Oh my God, that is still the most fun game.
They fooled us by thinking that they could put up a fight. The Miami Heat left that game wide open door all night long, and the Bulls just refused to walk through it. The Bulls.
Kobe White stopped being able to drive. 7 turnovers in the game.
Josh Giddey, even though he led the team, I mean, he was not very good last night.
25 points, 10 rebounds.
He still was not very good last night. And how many assists? Because that offense on Josh Giddey has to facilitate through him. He has to be the facilitator of that offense. That's his role. And
As a point guard.
2.5
You'd
assists.
hope.
2.5
One would
assists,
hope.
something like that.
2 assists?
I somewhere around there. I just
Oh.
don't know where the Bulls go from here. Look, they've got some building pieces, right? Matas Buzelis, building piece. You look at Kobe White, building piece. Everything else kind of Patrick Williams is the worst draft pick, and I'm gonna go out, the worst draft pick the Bulls have ever made in the second round of any draft is Patrick Willis. Patrick Williams, I should say, not Patrick Willis.
Patrick Williams, yeah.
I don't care. You could look up all of the draft picks that they've had that you want. Patrick Williams is the worst, and you won't change my mind. You can pick up any name that you think might be worse. I'm gonna tell you Patrick Williams is worse.
Eddie Curry.
Patrick Williams is worse than Eddie Curry.
Who was the guy they took over?
How about the fact that they took what was his freaking name? Also last name Williams, who got in a motorcycle accident in the draft, and he never played.
Jason Williams. Yeah, but he was going to be good. He was going to be good at all counts.
Exactly. He never played a game for the Bulls, and Patrick Williams is still a worse Bull than him.
He played some Bulls games. He did, but just not a lot. I don't know how much Jason Williams played for the Bulls. I can look it up, but he was playing well.
Anyway, he was worse than Patrick Williams. There is no worse draft pick that the Bulls have made.
I can't remember his name. He was taking over LaMarcus Aldridge, who went to the Blazers, who was pretty good. Jay Williams, 10 points a game. Yeah, I mean, it was his first year. He played 75 games. But he was definitely looking good moving forward. He was never a shooting point guard coming out of school. So, you'd hope he would have gotten that. It was a different sport back then. We're talking 2002, 2003. But, yeah, I mean, yeah, and I thought Patrick Williams had a shot in this league. He could shoot. He could do a lot of things young, but he never got really that much better from 19.
Yeah.
Which is tough.
It's
really what you want.
You're right.
You want to get better at life, period, after 19.
Where do you go from here, right? Like, if you're AK, like, what is...
You don't go 15-5 the last 20 games of the season. Is what you don't do. You go 5-15. You get yourself up, a lot of ball.
Well, you're going to need, what, 2 superstars? You need to go get 2 superstars? Whether that's Giannis, whether that's, a lot of stuff going on in Denver. Like, what do you go? You have to go and do something. Otherwise, I mean, you're looking at, we're playing the Heat in the play-in game every year for the next 5 or 6 years. Yeah, they've already played them three straight seasons. They've played the Heat in the play-in game.
And they've lost all 3.
And they haven't scored more than 91 in any of them.
No.
So it's just to the point where, like, look, man, and you see this as a White Sox fan with Jerry Reinsdorf run teams where you're looking at AK kind of the same way you're looking at Chris Getz. You're looking at AK and you're like, what are you going to do? How are you going to do this? How are you going to make this better? Knowing that there's no way you can make this better. There's just no way. Because you're not going to be able to spend the money. Even if you do have the cap space, you're not spending the money to go get a guy like Jokic. You're not spending the money to go get a guy like
it definitely seems like a regime that is going to take those chances. I mean, you have to spend a certain amount of money. Everybody spends pretty much up to the cap. I'm sure there's some variations, but it doesn't seem like they are going to make that or going to take that chance. I forgot who they traded. The Bulls traded for LaMarcus Aldridge. Going back to your worst draft pick ever. Trade. Yeah, in 2006, the Bulls traded LaMarcus Aldridge, who they selected in the second overall, to the Portland Trailblazers in exchange for Tyrus Thomas, who was terrible. And LaMarcus Aldridge played in 1,000 games and averaged 19 points a game. That's a pretty bad draft. And Tyrus Thomas, I can't believe I can't remember him. Had a lot of talent, but was terrible.
Yeah.
So
I'm looking at it. I'm looking it up right now. The Bulls cap space heading into 2025, 2026, negative $31 million. So what you're telling me is that this is going to get worse.
I mean, they can spend 31 million.
No. They're $31 million over the cap.
It's got to be some kind of error. I mean, who are they paying?
I'm looking at it. I don't know. I'm looking it up according to Sport Track. Unless I'm just looking at it wrong. Maybe let me just go look to see.
Maybe minus 31 million means they can spend 31 million. I think
That might be what it is.
I don't really.
Well, see, no, because that doesn't make sense. Because when I look at Atlanta, it said the Bulls were 7th in cap space, but now I look at it where it says the Atlanta Hawks are 27th in cap space, and they have minus 98 million. So that doesn't make sense, right? Because they would have more than.
Yeah.
So maybe I don't. Maybe I just don't understand how the NBA cap works. And I know this is probably great podcasting and great radio and great sound that we, didn't do our research before the show. But I don't know. Is it like, how does cap space work in the NBA? In the NBA, cap space refers to the amount of money a team has available to spend on their players within the limits of the league salary cap. It's calculated as the difference between the team's total player salary commitments and the salary cap. All right, so I guess that's what it would be then. Is that they are 31 million to the good?
They have to spend at least 90% of their cap.
Yeah.
And the salary cap is set at 140.5 million. So teams must spend at least 126 million.
Okay. And right now the total cap allocations for the Chicago Bulls in 2025, 2026 is $185 million.
That's not
That's
good.
including
Well, they probably still.
That's including like players that they've traded. That's including money that they're still paying out. So
Maybe Zach LaVine, they're still all.
yeah, Zach LaVine is they owe him 17 million. DeRozan, they owe him 17 million. Caruso, they owe him 2 million.
So there you go. There's your 30 million.
Yeah.
That'll be off next year. I'm sure there's going to be a couple off next year, but yeah, they're in NBA hell. I mean, going 5-15 that season would have been better. It would have been less entertaining.
That also includes free agent salaries. So let's see here. Patrick Williams is a free agent, 18 million coming off the books. Kobe White's a free agent. He'd probably re-sign him. Jalen Smith is a free agent. Ayo Dosunmu is a free agent. Javon Carter's a free agent. So probably that's 9, 16. That's another 30 million right there between Jalen Smith, Ayo Dosunmu, and Javon Carter. I would assume Ayo Dosunmu is back. I would assume Jalen Smith is back. And then you go and you build around that, I guess. And that's how, but it's just, to me, I don't know. So this is weird too, because they have first apron space and second apron space. The frick is that? The hell is apron space? I'm so confused. Cap hit, cap space, using cap space. Cap hit. Cap space is calculated by subtracting the team's cap hit from the salary cap. It represents Teams use cap space to sign new players, particularly during free agency. Teams with more cap space are more likely to sign high value. Well, yeah, no, thank you for nothing. Teams with more money to spend are more likely to get high
Yes.
price.
More likely to get free agents.
Oh my god.
People plan years in advance. This is not it's not just an organization. This is, a GM, VP of operations, whatever they're calling people, the executive. This is not a team that is taking chances, that is looking years in advance. This is a team that was, oh yeah, we're building for the future, but we want to play in the play-in game. I mean, they literally said that, which is there's a very real chance that Chicago enters free agency as a top 5 team in terms of practical cap space.
Yeah, so right now in practical cap space, like you were just talking about, I'm looking it up. So now I'm starting to understand it a little bit more. They're going to have roughly about $60 million.
That's Nick Johnston. Hello, Nick. Long time no see.
What's up? What's going on, Nick? Yeah, I was just looking to get an understanding of it, and it looks like, from what I can tell, they're going to have about $60 million on the books that they can spend, and that's 7th in the NBA. So if you have $60 million and you go out and you go out, I mean, it all depends on who the free agents are, what your needs are, and where you spend. I know Giannis isn't a free agent until the end of next season. And unless Jokic is traded, he's not leaving Denver. But with all the things that have gone on in Denver, there's a lot of rumors out there that he wants out of Denver. So here's my question to you. If they do have a chance at Jokic and at Giannis, who do you want? Who would you rather have?
Giannis.
You'd rather have Giannis over Jokic?
Yeah,
huh?
I think people would have said maybe I'm 2 years behind in this.
Maybe I think Jokic is one of the best players in the NBA. I really do. I think he's, and I think Giannis is good, but I don't think he's Jokic good. But that's just my personal opinion. Nick's more of a basketball guy. Nick might be able to help us out with this. Nick, who would you want as you're just chilling before night classes at the O'Hare campus? I just got home from the Chicago campus, so that's why I'm drinking.
I mean, here's what the Bulls will do. They'll sign James Harden for publicity. The Joker, 1,000%.
Told you.
Yeah, I know a lot of people would say that. Like I said, I'm probably 2 years behind in doing that, but I just don't see them doing the obvious thing right now. Like I said, they'll sign James Harden, and that they'll shove him down our throat for 2 years because he's 35. And that's a Bulls thing.
Dwayne Wade all over again.
Chicago sports thing to do.
Dwayne Wade all over again.
I mean, Dwayne Wade was more done. Dwayne Wade was, I think, more done. Where James Harden is not in the same. He is not playing with the same mileage as Dwayne Wade was. It's like that point in Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark. Where Marianne tells him, like, we're getting old, Indy, and Indy says it's not the years, it's the mileage. I think Dwayne Wade had a lot more mileage.
So Nick says Jokic and Vooch are good friends.
Then let's go, Vooch. You got another couple years left on your contract. Get out there.
It's the same thing why I don't believe that the Cubs are signing Kyle Tucker.
Oh, so you're off the Kyle Tucker thing now.
No, I'm not. I'm just saying I never believed they were going to sign him. What are you talking about?
You were last week. You said, "Oh, there's a lot of there's this Hispanic guy. There's this guy in Mexico. There's that guy in El Salvador and an El Salvadorian prison who I heard."
And what you heard me say afterwards was,
"I heard that." Wait a second.
GMs in this town don't do this. So you're going to have AK in do you trust AK to make a move for either one of these guys? I don't trust AK.
No, I don't.
Who
I
else is
think
he gonna
he's.
get any superstar?
I think he's the Chicago equivalent of Jed Hoyer. I don't think he's taking a lot of chances. At least I don't see him taking a lot of chances. I think he takes enough chances to get into the playing game, I guess, or at some point when they had DeMar DeRozan and they were doing that whole thing and they were good for like 20 or 30 games, and then Ball had to get cadaver ligament in his knee, was out for like 5 years for an entire freaking presidential, term. He was out. I mean, they were good for like 20, 30 games where it was like, what is this? What's going on here? And then,
Yeah.
I mean, a little bit of this is you do get into NBA hell. It's just like hockey hell where the Hawks are right now. I mean, you can't, if you are in hell because the salary cap is so tight, you have to plan things over years. And if you're middling, it's even worse than in baseball. I mean, look at where the Cubs are even.
The NBA is a soft cap anyway. It's not like it's a hard cap. You can go over the cap to a point, right? Because it's a soft cap.
You can, yeah. I mean, you could pay a luxury tax. Yeah, you can get into luxury tax, but people don't go that far into the luxury tax.
Yeah, what I'm saying is in the NBA, more so than the NHL, probably more so than any other sport, is that if you go out and you spend and you sign 2 max players to 2 superstars, all of a sudden you're a completely different team the next year. You know what I mean? Like, and that changes things more so than it does in the NFL, more so than it does in Major League Baseball, and more so than it does in the NHL. But in the NBA, I think it's easier to get better fast, and all you have to do in the NBA to do that is spend the money.
I don't know. You have to have the right role players who are making the right contracts, and sometimes you have to set it up for a while. Like the first super team, the Boston Celtics team that had Ray Allen, Paul Pierce, God, I can't even Kevin Garnett. Like that was a team that Danny Ainge took like 3 years to put together, 3-4 years to put together. That was like the first basic super team. But he had to have the right role players. He had to have, the right contracts in place so he could fit them in.
So when you look at the list of upcoming free agents to be, LeBron James, not going to be a Bull.
No.
Fred VanVleet, Kyrie Irving, James Harden, Chris Middleton, Julius.
There you go, James Harden.
Clint Capella. You've got Malcolm Brogdon, Miles Turner, Tim Hardaway Jr., Duncan Robinson, D'Angelo Russell. You've got some guys that you could go out and you could be like, hey, let's do this. Dennis Schrader, if Detroit ends up letting him become a free agent. I mean, look, these are just free agents to be. There's no saying that they won't re-sign with the current team that they're on. But if any of these guys become free agents, Al Horford with the Boston Celtics.
Oh, Al Horford. What is he, 90?
I understand that, but I mean, is he not better than anything that you have right now?
Get Orlando Woolridge.
But is he not better than anything you have right now? Do the Bulls bring back Josh Giddey?
Suit up Stacey King. Yeah, they're bringing him back.
God, I hope not.
You don't want Josh Giddey?
No, Giddey's terrible. I don't like Josh Giddey at all.
I mean, he's 22, 23.
I mean, maybe.
God, that was fun. And that Chicago sports podcast that lip synced the end of that game. It was fun for a second, but like I said, if they went 5-15, it'd be a lot better. That's what you do. You got to get a draft pick and a guy on a rookie contract. It's like, it's like football that way. I mean, you have to make sure you have to draft really well. You have to not trade your second pick in the draft to Golden State so they can get, Jesus, why did his name escape me? He's in the news every other day because he kicks someone or punches someone.
You're talking about DeAndre?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you have to do. And you have to have the convey. I mean, look at even Golden State. I mean, that team was stacked for a while, not anymore. They're trying to, get back there, but it takes a while. I don't know. It's hard. Yeah, I mean, you'll see a team spin on a dime, but that you don't see the 3-4 years under that iceberg of them, moving around and being able to get into place. Why are we talking about basketball for 25 minutes?
Well, because the
Because
Bulls
you started talking about the WNBA.
the Bulls just collapsed. What's wrong with the WNBA?
Well, let's ask Bill Burr.
How about how
Can we
about
ask Bill
how about
Burr?
how about
Can we-
the Chicago Sky just got Haley Van Lith, who, oh my God, I am going to get season tickets courtside. Good God, is she beautiful?
What
No?
happened? Well, I was trying to look for my
You're trying to
no,
look
she
up
is
Haley
good
Van
looking.
Lith, aren't you?
I was trying to look for my Forrest Gump clip that is somehow gone. But yeah, no, I agree. Good looking. She's never coming on our show though now, because you're a creep show. So
I'm the creep show.
Yeah, there's nothing stopping you other than the fact that you guys are just into destroying each other. No, now it's gonna get quiet. I see all that sneaky shit you do. Ladies, if you could just support the WNBA the way you support a fat chick that's proud of her body and is no longer a threat to you, that league would.
I mean,
Doubting Thomas. Harvey Weinstein pitcher. A rapist from Hollywood. The Hollywood rapist producer. That's where we're at with Doubting Thomas.
doesn't surprise me. Brandon's a sucker for broad shoulders, I guess.
Oh, wow. There
rough.
you go. Little rim shot for you, Nick.
That's rough.
He's getting an edge to him, Nick Johnston. He's getting an edge out there. I like it.
I mean,
Get a hooker, Nick. Rob a bank. Let's go.
that's something. That is something.
It is the city of broad shoulders.
That's true.
Can we shift to the NFL draft? Or do you
can.
want to talk about how great the Cubs are for 15 minutes? Are we going to do that first? Because if so, I'll just take a pee break.
That is Haley Van Lith.
Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't say broad shoulders.
I mean, look, if that doesn't float your boat, Nick Johnston, maybe it's you.
She's got a little Jessica Rabbit in her. Maybe she reddens up that hair.
Gonna have a little Brandon Combs in her.
Brandon loves those Adam apples. Yeah, Nick.
No, look,
He should change his profile picture.
we have to get on board with the WNBA. I don't care what Doubting Thomas says. I don't care what Nick Johnston says. I don't care what you say. You have to get on board, and here's why. Because now the Chicago Sky are going to be a playoff team with Haley Van Lith and other girl,
Kyle Tucker,
Aja Luska. They are going to be a playoff team.
Angel Reese.
And they are probably going to be the only playoff team we have in the city since we started the podcast still.
Yeah, well, the last playoff team is now the worst team in baseball history, which is weird. I'm personally on board with Fitz gibberish.
A shocker. Your niece is here to say that she's with you. Yeah.
Would you stop?
I wish my family would chime in and just be like, "Hey, I'm with Brandon." God.
You just had your son.
He don't count.
What?
All right. So, do you want to go NFL or you want to go MLB? Where are we going with this?
I'd rather go NFL, tell you the truth.
All right, so let's talk about we got the draft coming up, NFL draft coming up in 1 week from today. Normally we do our own thing, and normally we have a draft show, but unfortunately this year we will not be able to do so. Fitz decided he does not want to do a draft show, so instead I picked up a shift at the radio station.
That never happened.
Oh,
Are you trying to check if I'm still listening? I mean, I took a pee in my pants, but I can still listen to the show at the same time.
Is that where we're at? You're peeing your pants now?
Pretty much.
Okay.
I need something to,
That's-
a little bit of excitement.
Look, the NFL draft, I actually have to work at the radio station that day, so we will not have our normal draft show on draft night, unfortunately. Which we were hoping to go live from Green Bay, but Fitz didn't want to do that either. So, did I lose you?
I'm here.
Okay. All right. You just didn't say anything, so I just don't know if you're here. So we won't have our normal draft night. So let's get into it tonight. Let's talk about
Let's go. Wow. Look at the energy.
What do you see with the Bears at 10? So I know there's a lot of people out there that are talking about the Bears going running back, and the Bears, even if Ashton Genty is gone, the Bears might take Omari and Hampton at 10. Is there a world where you're okay with this? Is there a world where at number 10 you're okay with a running back? Because you already know my answer on this.
No, I'm really not good in a world that I'm taking a running back. Nope. They can take him in the second round. They got a 39th overall pick and 41 is it? 41?
Yeah, 39 and 41.
39 and 41. You can take a running back there and can be a talented running back. We can go through the running backs in a second if you want. I kind of like they have a mock draft on NFL.com, like what each team is going to take for their top 2 picks. And they have the Bears taking Membu, your guy.
I like that. I don't think
Missouri, and then Kenneth Grant, the defensive tackle from Michigan. I like those 2 picks, but you don't.
I do like. I love the Membu pick. I don't think Membu's available though when you get there. I think Membu and it's really going to depend, right? Because when you look at the draft and you look at who's picking in the top 5. All rumors point to, even if Tennessee trades out of the spot, even if Tennessee trades out of there, you're going to have a quarterback go at 1 in Cam Ward. Rumor is that they're going Travis Hunter at 2 to Cleveland. I'm not sure how much I believe that. They could also either trade out or go quarterback. And then it gets interesting, right? Because what do the Giants do? Do the Giants go edge rusher? Does Abdul Carter finally come off the board? Or do the Giants, are all the rumors that I've heard coming out of New York, coming from people that are tied up with the team, they love Shedeur Sanders. And they were going with Shedeur Sanders even if they went out and got Aaron Rodgers. So if that happens, if the first 3 picks, and you're looking at the Patriots at 4, that actually, and the one that I liked was CBS, was the Bears trading number 10 and number 39 to the Patriots for that number 4 spot and going to get Abdul Carter.
Is that going to be enough? You're going to need a pick for next year, for the following year. You're going to need a pick for the following year to go up 6 spots.
To go up to number 4?
To go up to number 4. You can't just trade your pick.
I'm going by what was on the CBS mock draft. That's all I'm going by.
Would be
so sure.
Scenario.
If you're going to get Abdul Carter, if you do trade up to go get Abdul Carter, if the Bears can trade up, I don't care if they trade a pick next year too. Is it going to be a first next year? Is it going to be a second? If you're telling me that they give up number 10 next year's first and number 39 for Abdul Carter, I think I'm okay with that too.
It's going to have to be somewhere in that area to get Abdul Carter, because from all looks of it, he's the next Penn State edge rusher to be tearing through this league, and your edge rusher is what, maybe 2 on your list?
Yeah, but
Players
next year's
you want a
first
great
round
edge
you're
rusher?
expecting is going to be what? You're hoping somewhere in the 20s, right?
Your pick, yes, you're hoping.
It better be.
You're
If it's not,
hoping.
we're in a whole different scenario and a whole different
I
conversation.
mean, I have them at I would hope 8, 9, depending on catastrophic injury. If we're taking catastrophic injury out of it and
I'm
just
at
a
9 and 8.
normal injury season, I'm saying 8, 9, 7, and 10. I'm not going into a winning record, not with this team.
I'm
I
at 9
mean,
and 8. I'm at 9 and 8 just
I
because
think what probably most to happen is the guy I was sitting next to in last year's draft screaming that they should take a tackle. Nick Johnston says if the franchise changing O lineman isn't there, trade back.
So there are so many different options at 10. So let's say that the Bears don't trade up and they are picking at 10. Let's just go straight off at 10 because we don't know if there will be any trades available. We don't know, what's there. So let's say at 10, realistically, you're looking at Jalen Walker is probably there, the edge rusher from Georgia. Armand Membu, to me, is probably gone. I think he's gone, and I think he's gone probably to the Jets at 7 would be my guess. I think that Ashton Genty goes to the Raiders at 6. And if Membu doesn't go at 7, I think Carolina takes him at 8. Because I think that if the Giants end up taking Abdul Carter and things get pushed up a little bit, and you're still talking about Mason Graham still being on the board as well, I think that you're going to be looking at Membu being gone. I think you're going to be looking at a world war where Jalen Walker is available, Colston Loveland's available, Tyler Warren's available, and then you're looking at Kelvin Banks, and you're looking at Will Campbell. So out of those, I mean, when you're looking at player rankings, Will Campbell and Kelvin Banks are down at 17 and 18. Jalen Walker is a 6th ranked player on ESPN's rankings for overall players. Would you pass up on an edge rusher to go and get maybe the 2nd and 3rd or 3rd best offensive lineman in this draft?
I mean, depends who the edge rusher is. If it's Abdul Carter, that's a tough one. I would think and it depends on the edge rusher. It really does. But you can't, look in your crystal ball and say a guy's going to pan out or not. If they think he's the edge rusher of the future, God, I can't believe I'm going to say that. I would rather have the edge rusher in some instances. But it just depends on what guy you're gonna get there.
Well, and here's the thing too, is that when you're looking at tackles, when you're looking at the tackles that are available, Membu's a true right tackle. He's never played left tackle. He's a true right tackle. He was a true right tackle his entire time at Missouri.
But he's a mountain of a man.
He ran a 4.91 40 at 332 pounds. A 4.91 40 and had the best broad jump.
Jeez.
I mean, that's insane. And he was tied for the 4th best vertical jump among offensive linemen. He's extremely athletic.
He'll drop to 10.
He's my number 1. I want Armand.
He's your number 1.
I don't think he's available though. I really don't. I don't think he's there at 10. So in order to go get Membu, you're going to have to trade up. And I don't know with who. Maybe it's with Jacksonville at 5. Maybe you can fleece Carolina again at 8. Like I don't know what you've got to do. But I believe in order for Membu to be a Chicago Bear, I think you're going to have to trade up. Unless, of course, 3 quarterbacks go in the top 5. because there is a world and a scenario where the top 2 picks are Shedeur Sanders and Cam Ward, and the Giants panic at 3 and take Jackson Dart.
And then you're trading with the Patriots, who do trade down a lot.
They do trade down a lot.
They still do, even with Belichick out of there. To take on more picks. Definitely have a young team where they might want more picks, although defensive-minded team most of the time. A lot of smoke out of New England that they will take Genty. There's a chance you get to 10 and either Will
If
Campbell.
Mason Graham's there, Mason Graham's a pick hands down. Period. I don't care what if Mason Graham is available at 10, he is the pick. He is the number 2 ranked player in this draft, right behind Abdul Carter. He is a beast.
Yeah.
And he changes that defensive line for you.
For sure. And then
best defensive tackle that the Bears have had in maybe the last 10 years.
I mean, the best defensive tackle the Bears have had in maybe even 20 since Tommy Harris, 20 years.
Your brother wants to know if you're in a holding cell. And Doubting Thomas said, yeah, it's in Joliet Women's Prison.
Are they talking to each other? I mean, can they watch the show?
Yeah.
Yeah, Mason. And shut the hell up.
So
I wish I was in the women's prison. That'd be interesting.
I mean, you agree with me, right? Like if Mason Graham's there at 10.
Yeah, next to Grady Jarrett. I mean, next to Sweat too. On that defensive line. I mean, everybody just watched, and I know I'm repeating myself, but I don't care. Everybody just watched the Super Bowl, right? What won that Super Bowl? You can say Jalen Hurts, yeah, maybe Saquon Barkley, them having so much attention to Saquon Barkley, and Jalen Hurts is a good quarterback. I don't know who had to be told that before the Super Bowl, but he's a good quarterback. He's a very good quarterback. Whether he's a great quarterback or not doesn't matter. You look like a lesbian.
Lesbian art. You look like a lesbian art.
All right. All right. Happy Easter, brother. Happy Easter, you son of a bitch. You know what I'm going to do? What I'm going to do? I'm going to go back to school. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go back to school. I'm going to study medicine. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go back to school. I'm going to study medicine. I'm going to get into an ER somewhere. I'm going to spend my time there. And the whole time, what I'm going to do is put as much animal fat and sugar into my brother's diet as I possibly can. And this whole time, I'll even buy a franchise, like a Dunkin' franchise or a donut franchise. And I'm going to go to medical school. I'm going to go through the ER. I'm going to become a cardiologist. And just about the time his arteries clog, I'm going to be one of the best heart doctors in the country. And then he's going to walk in to an office. He's not going to even know. I'm going to hide all of this from him. He's not even going to know. He's going to need surgery. He's going to walk into my office. I'm going to be like, here we go. And then when the surgery comes, he's going to have a baboon heart and a vagina when he gets out of that damn surgery. And I don't care if it takes me 20 years. I don't care if it takes me 30 years, Combs.
Is this Fitz gibberish?
Because I'm sick of it. And that's Fitz gibberish.
He says this is taking too long. Is this an insult?
Yes. Things take time, John. You can't just call somebody a lesbian. I guess you can.
I mean, it's 2025. You cannot.
You can't call somebody a lesbian?
No.
LOL. Are we on a text? Are we in a text?
I don't know what is going. I don't know what's going on.
Are we on a text stream right now?
Are we talking about the NFL draft?
We were.
And somehow we got into you're giving your brother a bamboo heart and a vagina.
What else do you want me to say here?
I mean,
He called me a lesbian. Jeremiah says he's commenting from work. Don't tell Elon. Does Jeremiah work for the government? Anyway,
does he work for Tesla?
SpaceX? I don't know. I wouldn't put Jeremiah at SpaceX.
I see Jeremiah.
Neuralink.
Probably,
Maybe the Boring Company. He could be working for the Boring Company. Or he could be one of his robots.
oh God. Oh
Maybe
boy.
Jeremiah isn't real. It's possible. I don't know where we're going with this show.
I'm just kind of letting you go now. 'cause
Grady Jarrett. Sounds good to me.
I don't know what's going on.
Line.
Jeremiah Murray.
That's what won the Super Bowl.
You said it was Jeremiah's fault that Katy Perry went to space the other day. That's where you lost me.
I wouldn't say it's Jeremiah's fault. I think it's the fact that we're living in a simulation's fault. No one gives a fuck. You can just type out fuck. Megan TV. Whoever you are.
She is Megan TV is a saint. You leave Megan out of this.
Wow, dude. You are lucky I'm not there.
She's not.
Enough of this. It's so weird. It's beyond weird now.
What? What's beyond weird?
You know what you're doing.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You know what you're doing.
You need to leave Megan TV alone, or I'll kick your ass.
I learned long ago to ram it just right. You can ram it all day and ram it all night.
Stay away from my sister, dude. That's all I have to say. Stay away from my sister. And stay away from Combs' sister. Like I'm supposed to say that? And weirdly, Doubting Thomas is silent.
Who do you think is holding the
I think we can end the show here.
Who do you think's holding the camera?
Oh my God.
Oh God.
Not bad.
Doubting Thomas said on that note, thank you, Coach, for letting me know you won't be home draft night.
You won't.
I won't be. I won't be.
Oh my God, John. I'll knock all the freckles off your poorly trimmed bearded face.
Oh. Invites in the mail.
Big cuck energy?
We are off the rails. Let's get back
We can end the show here.
to NFL draft. Oh my God, where did we go? All
Mason Graham isn't going to fall, though. Do you trade up for him then? Why did my voice do that? I don't know.
I would trade up for Mason Graham. I would trade up for Abdul Carter, and I would trade up for Armand Membu. Those are the three players I would trade up for. Now, where you trade up and who you can trade up with is going to be determined on how the picks fall in the top three. Because if, let's say, Travis Hunter is still available at 4, he's going to New England. If you're talking about Abdul Carter still being available at 4, I've got to believe that he's going at 4. And I did see the comment earlier from Jeremiah, who said that the New England Patriots are talking about taking Genty at 4. And now you're talking about Abdul Carter and Mason Graham still being on the board at 5 and 6. That's wild to me because Abdul Carter is the number 1 pick in this draft.
All of what the Patriots need, they're going to take Genty. I don't believe that.
I mean, they believe in their quarterback. They believe they got the right coach. They believe. But hey, look, you got to in today's NFL, you have to be able to win in the trenches. And for me, if Abdul Carter is there at 4, and so is Mason Graham, I can't believe you go with Gent. I mean, that's a huge mistake, and that the Patriots just aren't a team that make mistakes like that in the draft.
No,
Now
I
they
think
might
they
stay
just
down, thinking that if they do trade with, which is why I thought that they were an interesting trade partner in that CBS mock draft with the Bears, because they do trade down a lot, and they could get either Ash Agenti or Omarion Hampton at 10, probably Omarion Hampton, because I think no matter what, I think Genti's going before. I think Genti's going to the Raiders if nobody takes him before they pick.
Pete Carroll's first draft pick.
I mean, why not, right?
I mean, it would be the theme of that Raiders team. No one knows what the hell they're doing.
Yeah, and nobody knows what's going on with the team. Downey Thomas says he's good with O-line if Genti is gone. Genti's going to be gone, but you're not going. Take a running back at 10 would be atrocious. Just be atrocious.
Yeah, I would no, I wouldn't. No, I don't think they're going to take. I think they're going to take a running back in like a Cam Scattaboo, or I mean, maybe not even in the second round. But I don't know. You have 2 second-round picks. It's one of the deepest running back drafts. Everybody says that. Maybe Caleb Johnson.
Whether it's
you've heard of.
Well, yeah, I have heard of him. Whether it's Caleb Johnson,
Why have you heard of him?
Or Quinshon Judkins or Cam Scattaboo, you can take somebody in the second round at 39 or at 41. Or maybe Travion Henderson might be there either, but there's a lot of rumors that he's going to end up going late in the first round, probably to like the Buffalo Bills.
I say you still need a safety too.
You do still need a safety.
Maybe you get a safety in the second round. You get a running back in the second round. Then you have to get a defensive or offensive lineman in that first round, unless you're trading down, like Nick Johnson said, and then you get more picks. Then you can change your calculus there. But if you're not taking either line in that first round, you're taking them in the second round.
Yeah.
And that's the problem with drafting Genti, is that it's just an egotistical pick from a team that was that bad last year in so many different areas. And now we're saying they plugged every hole because they got a bunch of 30-year-olds and a few young guys that have shown that they could play. No.
And your brother will probably tell you that Xavier Watson in the second round is a possibility, and he might be. But I think Malachi Starks will
Notre Dame.
Yeah, I think. What's the kid out of Alabama? Iman Worry. I can't remember his name. It's something like that. But you've got the 3 safety. The 3 big safeties are Starks, Watts, and Iman Worry, Emin Worry, whatever.
I like what's happening right now.
However you pronounce his last name, it always gives me fits.
I mean, right? Jaquan Brisker is probably not gonna be able to think anymore.
Yeah.
A mom worry. Yeah, that's a tough one.
It is a tough one. And now Downey Thomas says, "What's wrong with best player available at 10?" But if you're telling me best player available at 10, you could be talking about Tyler Warren. You could be talking about Jalen Walker. You could be talking about Mikael Williams. So you could be talking about a couple of edge rushers or a tight end if you're talking about best player available at 10, as opposed to need. That's the thing about the Bears. That's what's so interesting about the Bears this year, is for the first time in a long time, they've got options in this draft. There's no, they have to go and get this guy. There's no, we're taking a quarterback. There's no, we're taking, you know what I mean? They've got options. They've got a few needs. They've got some holes to plug, and they've made some really good offseason moves. So they have options. It's just going to be about where does Ben Johnson see the biggest need? Where does Ben Johnson want to go? Now, if you're talking about best available, I would tell you that if it's Ben Johnson, and I look at the way he's run his offense over the last few years, I would tell you it's going to be Tyler Warren.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or maybe
And
even
then Penn State, he can block, he can catch,
Yeah.
tight ends becoming, it's becoming a position with a lot of these zone defenses that's really important in the NFL. You don't see a lot of teams getting rid of their tight ends. I've said that about a lot of positions now, but tight ends up there. It is. It's not left tackle. It's not edge rusher. That's why when you have a top 10 pick, I almost think like if there's a really good edge rusher or offensive lineman up there, you got to go for it. I just don't see why you wouldn't, especially what happened last year, especially watching where this league is going. As a consolation pick, I would like Tyler Warren more than a running back for sure. Just where a lot of these offenses are going. I mean, we've talked about it a million times. Not a lot of people are throwing that far downfield anymore. This isn't 4 or 5 years ago that the NFL changed so quickly on their offense. I mean, everybody's efficiency, and what's more efficient than throwing it to a freaking 270-pound, 6'4", 6'5"?
Yeah.
And
if you're going off of player rankings, so let's by rankings, Abdul Carter's number 1, Travis Hunter is number 2, Mason Graham's number 3, Tyler Warren's number 4, Ashton Genty's 5, Jalen Walker, the edge rusher out of Georgia, is 6, Cam Ward is 7, Armand Membu is 8, Michael Williams, the edge rusher out of Georgia, is 9, and Colston Loveland, the tight end from Michigan, is 10. So that's your top 10 players. 2 of them are tight ends. You have a running back in there. You got a quarterback in there. And then you've got a bunch of players in the trenches. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait for draft night. It's going to be a blast. You've got a lot of things that could happen. And if the Bears do trade up with whoever, whether it's New England, whether it's Jacksonville, or even if they stay at 10, I think that 10 is the latest they would pick. I know a lot of people are talking about trading down. I don't think they trade down because I think there's too much talent there in the top 10 and with the needs that they have to be able to build depth on this team. I think is the biggest, to me, that's the biggest need. Build depth in the trenches. And if you're not building depth in the trenches, you're taking a tight end. Would you agree with that assessment?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't see them taking any skill players until later in the draft, for sure. I mean, no, I don't. It wouldn't make sense to me. Like I said, especially with the history of this team, you want to keep your job.
Yeah.
You take Genty and you have another offensive line year like you had last year. You're done in this town. You're a joke in this town.
The Bears don't need defensive linemen? What?
Yeah.
Oh, question mark. Asking a question. They do need a left tackle. They do need defensive line. A lot of people say that Braxton Jones is their left tackle, and I heard Dave Wanstead today say that he'd be okay with Braxton Jones as his left tackle too. And Armand Membu would be the right tackle.
What did Dave Wanstead do in this town where he is on every broadcast I see with his weirdly shaped mustache? Can I just for a second?
He's a football mind. I mean, he's coached in the NFL. How many games did you coach in the NFL?
He did nothing though. He had crappy teams here. He is the coach of the team, the last team to win a playoff away game. I mean, he in 1995, I think it was against Minnesota, but
I think that was the last time we
had terrible. This is the guy that traded for Rick Meyer, who couldn't throw. Like, why are we listening to him? I don't want to listen to him, and we're okay with our left tackle. I don't want to be okay with my left tackle. I just don't. And I hate to keep talking about this again and again until you listen, but you're going to keep talking anyway. He won a couple Super Bowls with the Cowboys. He's just taking your side to piss me off. Like, what the hell did Dave Wanstead do?
It's the old adage that
as a head coach.
Dave
It's Jimmy Johnson.
Dave Wanstead's football mind is far more superior than your football mind. Be just the same way where
I'm not sure of that.
Take the worst player on any minor league sports team, and they are a million times the athlete that you are, no matter how good you are in men's leagues. It's the same. It's the same thing. That's why Dave Wanstead was a coach in the NFL for how long? A head coach in the NFL. Do you know how many people are not head coaches in the NFL?
You're lucky I don't have the Braxton Shuffle video anymore.
Look, I'm not saying
Of
that
him shuffling off into nowhere land.
I'm not telling you that if they don't take a left tackle, if they go out and they get if they get your boy that you love so much, Will Campbell over at LSU with the little T-Rex arms, if they go and get him at left tackle, I'm okay with it.
33 inches. Come on.
That's what she said. I'm okay with if they go left tackle. I'm okay if they go right tackle. I'm okay if they go with a defensive tackle. I'm okay if they go.
I don't believe you.
I'm okay if they go with a tight end. I would not be okay if they went running back. I would not be okay if they went with if they go reaching for something. If they go wide receiver and try to take Tet McMillan.
They're not.
That's what I'm saying. I know they're not, but I'm telling you, out of all the other positions, running back and wide receiver are the only ones I don't want to see them reach for at 10. Any other position they go for, I would be okay with. So when he says that, hey, if you get there and Armand Membu is there, you take Armand Membu because he's a true right tackle and he can play the other side, and you'll be fine with Braxton Jones on the left side. I can get with you there because if you're
what happens to Darnell Wright?
Well, if you're the God, Darnell Wright, you want Darnell Wright over Braxton Jones? Now who's smoking something? But here's my thing with either one of the tackles.
I'm saying on the right side. You put Membu on the right side. No, Membu's going being a left tackle.
Right tackle.
Yeah, in college he was. Get it out of your head. I don't care.
With the Bears again, you want to shuffle a guy and make him play a position.
Left tackle's easy.
We're gonna do Tevin Jenkins all over again. You're okay with that?
I'm kind of okay.
Here's my thing with the right tackle and left tackle. Now answer me if this makes sense to you. How do we know that Darnell Wright and Braxton Jones can't both be good now that Joe Thuney, Jonah Jackson, and Drew Dahlman are the interior? How do we know that doesn't change their game? You know what I mean? So that's why when I listened to him say I'd be okay with Braxton Jones at left, the same way that I just heard you say Darnell Wright okay at right tackle, it's the same thing to me because you fixed the interior offensive line, which was a huge problem. So maybe that would help your tackles. Now, for me, it's about building depth. That's why I would still take either one of the tackles. The best tackle available is where I would go at 10. If it was me, I'm taking the best tackle available at 10 because I want to build depth. If one of these guys go down, if Braxton Jones can't handle it, if he's still as bad as we've seen him be, if Darnell Wright can't handle it, if Darnell Wright's back starts flaring up again, you have somebody to step in. And that's
and they're not saying much about Braxton Jones' injury either, so they might not even have a left tackle.
Well, that's true too, but I mean, they still got who's the kid that they drafted last year? Amagaji.
Oh,
did you
watch Amagaji play?
But he didn't have you can't say that because he only played 3 games and he didn't really have a chance to actually develop. You know what I mean? So, and again, maybe Amagaji's better with having the new interior offensive line. Maybe the new interior offensive line helps solidify things so it's not as hard on Braxton Jones or not as hard as on Darnell Wright to try to worry. They can just worry about their guy. They don't have to help on the interior anymore. So that's why I'm saying when you're talking about why do people say that it's Braxton Jones or Darnell Wright? Like, it's because you've got new pieces, and you have to trust the process. And look, I don't think that this is better than a 9-8 team this year. I don't. You look at their schedule; the road schedule is brutal. Beyond the Las Vegas Raiders, their home schedule is kind of weak, so I think that they can get to 9 wins. But their road schedule is brutal, and
I can't believe you have them at 9 wins.
well, because have you looked at their schedule?
No, I'm saying I can't believe you don't have them at less wins. I'm not saying you have more.
Well, it's because of who they're playing. That's why I don't have them at more.
Who knows who you're playing? Some of these teams could be good next year.
Well, that's true too, and it also depends on when you get them, right? Are they playing good football when you get them? Is it week 1? Like, rumor has it they're going to be playing the Philadelphia Eagles week 1 on Thursday Night Football to raise the game. Now, maybe you get the Eagles on week 1 in Philadelphia, and we all know how crazy week 1 can be.
Yeah, it is. No one's ready to play, and
maybe the Bears steal
a couple of games is basically practice.
The
Yeah,
Eagles are getting their rings and raising a banner, and maybe they're just not ready for week 1. It's a short off season for them. We know how that goes after a team wins a championship. All sorts of things that could be different. So once the schedule is actually released, as opposed to just the opponents, it might have a different outlook. But just based off of their away and their home schedule, I really believe they could possibly win all of their home games. Dude, their home games are like against Carolina. They're against some really big. The Giants, I believe, are on their home schedule. There's a lot of really bad teams on their home schedule. Now, maybe the divisional games you could talk about, but their home schedule is really weak.
Matt Eberflus's road record.
Oh my God!
Do you know?
In everything.
3-19.
Oh my God!
Here we go with predictions.
Oh my God!
Why don't you make a prediction then, John? You had the Sox winning 75 games. That is not happening.
How's that going? No, not good.
We could shift to baseball.
All right. So the Bears, real quick, the Bears' home opponents are obviously the divisional opponents: the Cowboys, the Giants, the Browns, the Steelers, and the Saints. You could realistically go 7-1 or 8-0 in that schedule.
Wow.
They're not better than the Cowboys. They're not better than the Giants. They're not better than the Browns.
Yeah, no. That doesn't mean they win those games, but yeah, they are. What if Joe Flacco goes back to the Browns?
Rated this week.
What if Joe Flacco goes back to the Browns and he Flaccos your ass again?
Actually, Flacco just signed with the Browns, did he not?
Yeah, I think he did.
Yeah.
Doubting Thomas, Ben Johnson improves this team by 3 to 4 wins minimum. I don't know if Doubting Thomas has had a stroke or he got hit by a car or someone changed his blood pressure medication.
Or maybe Megan's typing for him.
Yeah, maybe. But he is not. I don't know where this Bears optimism comes from. But I'll take it, I guess. Ben Johnson. Okay, let's see how Ben Johnson does. Brand new head coach. He looks tough to me.
All right. Bears.
He makes Ryan Poles look like a silly bitch.
Bears road schedule. Obviously, the 3 divisional opponents, and then you got the Raiders. But beyond that, Baltimore, Cincinnati, Philadelphia, San Francisco, and Washington. All playoff teams. I mean, that's a brutal road schedule.
The grand tradition of Matt Eberflus continues.
And if they play Detroit on Thanksgiving again, they're going to win that game in Detroit. Because that's just what Detroit does. They lose on Thanksgiving.
Yeah, you're the best coach available. You can't put a price on a good teacher, really. I think John's getting drunk. I don't know.
It's probably.
He's probably got tomorrow off. It's Holy
All right.
Thursday. So
Let's dive into baseball quickly before we get out of here. The Cubs look 3-3 on the latest road trip. I mean, look, some good stuff, some really, really bad stuff. You lose Justin Steele for the season. That's tough. It's very tough. But you still went 3-3. You took 2 out of 3 from the Dodgers in LA. You lost 2 out of 3 to San Diego, who has been playing really good baseball. And now you come back and you're up against the Diamondbacks here at Wrigley. And then you get the Dodgers and Phillies all here at Wrigley. Long homestand all the way up until next Sunday. I'll be at next Sunday
you
night.
didn't mention one thing.
What?
You missed one thing. The Matt Shaw watch is over.
The Matt Shaw watch is over. Matt Shaw going down to AAA. Look, Matt Shaw, his leg click. They've got to do something with his swing. The leg kick is so big. You can't hit anything inside with that leg. And I don't know. Look, I'm not a professional scout, and I don't pretend to be one, but I just don't know how nobody's said anything to this kid prior to this that this could be a problem for him.
Could I just say something? I need to say it.
Go ahead.
The whole show. I've been holding back.
Chase Mydroth.
Chase Mydroth. I mean, good-looking guy, huh?
I don't know.
No. Alex Bregman. Do you know what Alex Bregman did recently against Tampa?
On the day that the Cubs sent
Matt Shaw down. Alex Bregman.
He had 5 RBIs with 2 home runs and 5 hits.
5 for 5.
Yeah.
2 home runs. He's batting .321.
Yeah.
Pretty good. Pretty good start to the season. Just saying. The Cubs don't make the wild card by 2 games.
Sure, but there's nothing you can do about that now. There's nothing you can
That's
do.
your answer.
You could have done something about it in the
We
offseason.
do a podcast here. There's nothing we can do about anything.
So there's nothing you can do about going and getting Alex Bregman now. He's a Red Sox. Should they have spent the money? Sure. Should they have gone out? Yeah, but I was okay with them not spending that type of money on Alex Bregman. He's hitting .321 right now. You know who else is hitting .300 right now? Javier Baez.
German Mercedes.
Javier Baez.
You don't know that.
Early, man. There's a lot of.
I know it's early. I'm just saying.
And
baseball, like they say in Moneyball. It's hard not to say baseball isn't romantic. I mean, it's just.
And if the Cubs bullpen doesn't blow,
baseball gods,
you're looking at a team right now that's 15-6. I mean, blowing 3 leads already in the 7th inning or later, you'd be 15-6. We'd be talking about, are the Cubs the best team in baseball? But
we're not talking about that right now.
All right, but you're talking about what ifs. What if they would have signed Alex Bregman? Well, what if the bullpen doesn't blow 3 games?
I'm just saying
game where you're up,
looking like they should have signed
into the bottom of the 8th.
Looking like
you're down 10-6.
It's looking like they should have signed him.
Why?
When's the card coming to bring me back to your cell, right? Hopefully soon. Why is it looking like it? Because the guy who took over at third base again for Isaac Paredes, who you traded for Kyle Tucker, who you haven't signed yet, is going down to Iowa. And now Alex Bregman went 5 for 5. Is batting 3. He was batting well before that. He was doing good before that. Looks healthy. Looks rested. Looks ready. I'm just saying. That's why it matters.
There's nothing you can do. He's not a part of the team.
I know there's nothing you could do about it. You could have done something about it 3-4 months ago.
Sure, but they didn't. Say you could have done something about this torrid ass bullpen 3 or 4 months ago too, and you'd be a much better team right now as well.
Yeah, even Kenley Jansen looks pretty good with the Twins right now. He's an older guy you could have got for a song.
But that's my point. They are still a good team without Alex Bregman. It's the bullpen that's the problem, not third base. Gage Workman's going to do just fine over there filling in. He's already done just fine over there.
You just made that name up.
I did not.
Gage Workman is not a human being on this planet.
And his middle name is Tater.
You invented.
It really is.
You invented him in your little game studio in your basement when you didn't have any other. Anything
I bet him
else
to
to
hit
do.
a home run on his first game in his first at bat because his middle name is
A
Tater.
limited time you have. You couldn't take Michelle out. You're inventing baseball players on what? Baseball. I don't even know the game. Whatever the game the kids are playing these days. Y2K.
Unbelievable. But he's batting 273. Anyway, Gage Workman is.
Is he batting 321? Did he go 5 for 5 with 2 home runs?
He did not.
Okay, we can move on.
Okay, let's move on. White Sox are 4 wins.
I don't really care. I mean, I'm fine with them. I'm fine.
John, they're only 71 wins away.
Yeah, they are. I don't think we're at the point yet where they would have to be 500. I think, they would have to be over 500 right now to get to 75 wins for the rest of the season. Not going to happen, but they'll be more interesting as the season goes on. And look, the Cubs have been great. I mean, this is a tough part of the schedule. Going 3-3 on the road, you want to basically be 500 against the good teams.
Mm-hmm.
And then, kill the bad teams, and then you get into the playoffs or at least the wild card. I think it's going to be somewhat easy to win this division. I had them winning this division. I still think Cincinnati. Did you see that play by De La Cruz the other day?
I
And
did.
then that home run he had.
Yeah.
Did you see that play? Like, he beat the third baseman to the ball. Like,
Yeah.
guy is just ridiculous.
He is.
And that Cincinnati team, I think, needs another year. But who knows? But I think this is the Cubs' division to win. I mean, I think that might even be another reason why they didn't spend more money in the offseason, because they know that they can win this thing for less money. I think at the trade deadline, and we can start talking trade deadline now, because they're going to be at least 500 at the trade deadline. Actually, it's probably a disappointment if they're 500 at this point. Who do you that want them to get? I mean, we can't look at a team and say this team is going to be bad, but what position do you want? Is it obvious it's going to be closer, starting pitcher?
It's going to be relief. It's going to be relief and maybe the best pitcher available, but they've got a lot of options at pitch. That is the one thing they do have, a starting pitcher to replace Ashton Steele. And it's something that I've said I said this on BetMGM tonight, and I've said it here before. I was not huge. I don't think that Justin Steele is as big of a loss as a lot of people are making it out to be, because of all the depth that they have at starting pitcher, whether it's in the minor leagues or at the major league level. You still got Jordan Wicks, who can come up, who's pitching really well down in AAA. You've still got Cade Horton, who has had a good start down in AAA as well. I believe his ERA is like 1.45 through, I think, 12 innings of work. So you've still got guys, you've still got options out there. Where you don't have options is in the bullpen. The bullpen is I mean, that's got to be a thing now. As a matter of fact, they already made a trade for a bullpen piece a couple days ago with the San Diego Padres. So I think that they've recognized that it's a problem. I don't know how they didn't recognize that this wasn't a problem already, because Jed Hoyer built a bullpen. You should have already known it was going to be trash. But now you've got, I think that's where you're going to be. But I think they're well above 500 going into the trade deadline, especially with, I know they have a tough April schedule, but their May schedule is, I mean, it's pretty juicy when you look at it on paper. When you look at their May schedule, you've got Pittsburgh, Milwaukee, the Giants, the Mets, the Marlins twice, the White Sox, the Reds, and the Rockies.
And this is a team that was set up to trade at the deadline. I mean, that's how they said. Jed Hoyer even said it in the offseason. This is a team that they set up specifically to be able to trade at the deadline for what they needed. I mean, I think a veteran starting pitcher, but I think number one, Sox are going to go on a tear. You watch.
Yeah,
you
they're
hear
going to
record.
tear a hamstring rounding third is what they're going to tear.
I mean, there's going to be good games. There's going to be fun with the Sox this year.
There's going to be at least
not
41 victories to celebrate.
When Kyle T, Eddie Caro, Colson Montgomery, when Noah Schultz is pitching.
Not being called up in what's his name? Quintero was the catcher they just called up over Teal.
Eddie Caro.
Eddie Caro
is ridiculous. It was a switch hitter too.
Yeah.
That's because they, Corey Lee went down. I didn't see that Caro was coming up. That's a big deal. The only reason why Teal isn't up is because they want him to play for a little bit of first base too, and I don't know what they're doing with Andrew Vaughn.
Trade him for a pair of socks.
Yeah, pretty much at the time. And that's going to be sad because there's a lot of people when he came out of the draft third overall, who said he's one of the best hitting prospects in like 20 years. And
the same thing about Kyle Schwarber.
True. I mean, but at least, if you just waited 10 years.
Same thing about Matt Mervis.
Yeah. Yeah. They said the same thing about Matt Shaw.
Yep. They said the same thing about Luis Robert.
Well, at least had an all-star year, but yeah, I mean, and with the whole thing with Kyle Schwarber, he's pretty good. It just took him 10 years, and he wasn't the best left-handed hitter in the league at any time.
He's still
not even close.
He's going to be a career 220 hitter that averages 40 home runs a year.
Well, I don't know if he's going to average that out.
Well, no, but
I know what you mean.
Like you're
in his prime.
Yeah,
his prime came later. Nick Magical is the best hitting prospect the last 10 years. You obviously didn't see us go through the scouting. I don't know if Doubting Thomas was listening when we went through Matt Shaw's scouting report, and then I called him Nick Magical.
All right, it's time to get out of here on that.
Oh, because
I can't. Thomas Comment of the Week award goes to Doubting Thomas.
That's a lot of top 10 picks not playing well. We just named.
Picks not playing well. But yes, so next week we will let you guys know
Sunday
what day and what time. So we're gonna be on Sunday, probably a little bit. I don't know what time, but we'll be on at some point. We will discuss the draft. We will figure all that out. I'll be at Wrigley Field next Sunday night. I do know that. So we will figure out a time, probably more towards, I don't know, 11 o'clock.
That could work.
Yeah. We'll figure it out. We'll let you guys know. We'll post. We try to trick you guys because we don't want Doubting Thomas, Jeremiah, to find out that we're on. So. Brother. Till next time. Same bad time. Same bad channel. Tell your friends. Tell your neighbors. Tell your enemies.